I started records in 1990 at Eisenhower Flea Market, and I moved downtown in 1992. And I was on Houston Street in the basement. And I moved here in 2003. So I've been downtown for 23 years selling records. These records have been purchased over that 23-year span from probably thousands of different people's personal collections, and I picked out the ones that I thought my customers would be interested in. I get teenagers in here and people in their 20s, so really I thought vinyl would have been over by now, but it seems to keep going and keep getting re-energized. You get the cover art. It's more substantial than a little piece of paper and a CD, and it's more real than something just streaming on the internet. So you got the cover art and the liner notes in the back, and then you have the record itself, which is, it's kind of like a piece of history. And then the music, of course, and people like the sound. Audiophiles with real good stereo systems prefer the sound of vinyl over compressed CDs or downloaded digital sound. The top 7 sellers would be the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Bob Dylan, and the Doors. And those are what you would call classic rock top sellers, most requested artists. Probably half of my records, or maybe 70%, are either by genre or alphabetized. Other than that, they might just be in some stacks, and I sort of go on autopilot. If someone's looking for like a particular album and it's not in the alphabetical section, I might remember where I might have gotten it in, and it might be in a stack somewhere, because I probably have 4,000 or 5,000 albums that aren't alphabetized, so I'm always running behind, let's put it that way. You know, I've gone through so many records, the good, the bad, and the ugly over the years. You know, I mean, I've had some really rare items that I didn't get what the book said, but you know, sometimes it depends on what you have in the record. And I've had the common stuff, and people buy that too. I mean, I had a guy in here one day that he had a computer printout with all his Mantovani collection, and I actually have a box of Mantovani up on the 4th floor. It's a storage floor. I have about 25,000 records up there. And he wound up buying 20 Mantovani albums, so it was a $200 sale on something that other record stores wouldn't even think of putting in their store. So you never know. One person's trash is another person's collectible. Well, I've never found a First State Beatle Butcher cover, and I've found paste overs and peels, but in 23 years I've never found one that wasn't pasted over, that was, you know, like in decent condition. I've just never been lucky. Some things never come up. And that Johnny Burnett that I showed you earlier, that's the first copy of that I found in 23 years. So I'm thrilled that, you know, in my lifetime that I found one Johnny Burnett and the Rock and Roll Trio album. We have approximately 15,000 sheets of sheet music, which people like as much for the music, like piano players for instance, as people like them for the covers. Some people collect a particular composer. Some people are looking for sheet music from a certain year, and that would be very difficult to organize sheet music by the years. And so you would basically have to put everything on computer and cross-reference it, because people buy sheet music for a multitude of different reasons. But I'd say the main thing that people are looking for in sheet music is the music, basically, and then the sheet music cover art, which a lot of them from that were in movies and things will have like little movie posters on the covers of the sheet music. So a lot of people that collect movie related things, they like sheet music for the covers because it'll have like little posters, like As Time Goes By has Casablanca on the cover. It's like a little, with Humphrey Bogart, it's like a little Casablanca poster. And in mint condition, they can go very high. The Wizard of Oz, original 1938, 39, whenever it came out, $75 to $100. This is the Sgt. Pepper's, and when I got it in, I thought, oh, wow, another reissue from the 80s. But then when I pulled the record out, I realized that it was colored a little bit splashed with a gray, mainly gray, but a little bit of splash in the vinyl, and I've never had this one before in 23 years, so it's about a $100 album. So it's an 80s purple label, but see, the colored vinyl is very, very rare. I mean, it's not thousands of dollars, it's 100, maybe 150, but I've never had it before. So I mean, I've gone through probably a couple million records since I've been in business, and I've never found this one before, so they couldn't have made very many. This is the Rolling Stones' first album, the first pressing, and the record is in mint condition. It books for about $200 to $400. And this is the poster that is always missing. Whenever you find this album, it never has the poster. So I put a cardboard backing on it just so it wouldn't get damaged. It has a couple of creases. And then also in that album I found this little fan club thing, advertisement that came out of maybe a little bit later album because their hair's a little longer. But this is very unusual. This is only the second copy of this I've ever found with the poster still in it, because kids would put them on their walls and they would never go back into the album. So even though this has a couple of creases on it, it's still very, very rare. Yeah, I like the checkered suit one better because it's more colorful and it just looks real cool the way he's dressed. And these run generally from $100 to $200, and these are the first pressings with the old black label chess label in the middle of the record. And these have a little tape on the edges, so that takes away. That's why these are like $90 to $125. This, he collaborated with the Beach Boys for a little while before he started becoming a murderer. And I think this, of course, album was made before he was arrested. He did some recording with people involved in the music industry, that especially the ones surrounding the Beach Boys. And a couple of the Beach Boys got involved with him, which they later regretted after he became so publicly known as a murderer. I don't know, they titled the album Lies in retrospect, or if that was the title of one of the songs, I'm not sure, but the title of the album is Lies, and he has that scary kind of look in his eyes. So as you can see over here, we have 2,000 or 3,000 Tex-Mex albums, which would be Conjunto and Tejano, which is Texas artists in Spanish, not Mexico. We do have some from Mexico, mariachi and trios and things like that, but I have the best selection of Tex-Mex LPs in the state. That would be, again, Conjunto and Tejano LPs. Most of them are very well organized, and I just bought a collection of Tejano and Conjunto of 200 to 300 albums that just came in recently. So I'm always getting more in, and there's always a good supply on hand. That would be anything from the Royal Jesters to Sonny and the Sunliners to Little Joe and Latin Breed. Even Selena, I got in about 7 Selena LPs, and those are really hard to get because people don't want to sell. They'll sell you all their records, but not their Selenas. That's one other thing that makes this shop unique from other record stores. Most record stores have little to no Tejano or Conjunto LPs. How do they discover the store? Some just look in the yellow pages, some Google it. I believe if you Google record store San Antonio, mine is one of the first ones that comes up. Some people are tourists. We have thousands of tourists in downtown San Antonio filling the many hotels down here, and they walk by and there's a big sign in the window. I'm in an antique mall and the sign says records on the 3rd floor. So I get a lot of people just walk-ins in the yellow pages, and then people from the internet, so, and word of mouth, of course. My main purpose of being here is to put as many records as possible in one place for people to go through. And yes, it is cluttered and my hours vary because I do everything myself. I don't have employees, but I do come in 7 days a week. The only days we're off is Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter. So my hours will vary because I'll get super burnout if I don't, and sometimes I'll come in a little late, sometimes I'll leave a little early if it's slow. And we're here to put all these records in one place and let the true vinyl addicts, the true vinyl hounds and collectors dig. They love to dig. So we do have a lot of our inventory in order, but this store is for people that like to dig and don't complain that it's it's too cluttered, there's boxes sitting on top of other boxes. A true vinyl hound loves boxes stacked on boxes. So this store is not for the complainers, it's for the true record hounds and collectors that love to dig and find little treasures here and there.